This is the fourth time lucky doing this video today. So this is day 2 of my 29-day video challenge. I am using a new simulcast app and it worked really well this morning. It went on Facebook Live at 11:11 a.m. New Zealand time, but not to here to YouTube, my most important platform obviously, because you're here. So today I'm just going to get on with it, and I want to talk to you about whether you are living a first class life or whether you're actually stuck in economy. And I'd like to shout out to Denise Duffield-Thomas, who first brought this into my realm of possibility recently, but also I've been talking to friends about this quite a lot, of where are you living your best life? Which areas of your life would you say are business class or first class? And which are those areas that you're probably hanging out a little bit in economy? Now, my partner and I, Josh, moved to this amazing lifestyle property at 6 or 7 weeks ago, and before that we were in another beautiful lifestyle property, but this one is the first architecturally designed house that I've ever lived in that is modern. It's built in 2005. I'm always living in these older, sort of beautiful, more period houses, but with them comes a lot of maintenance and problems, like at our other one. And so I feel like we've just really elevated our life by coming here. It's pretty amazing. We have these gorgeous, let me show you actually, floor to ceiling windows out towards the valley, and it's just, the bathrooms are amazing. I might show you at some point. They're just like these incredible windows that look up the valley as well. Everything in here is high spec and it feels really luxurious, which I'm really appreciative of. So I feel like we've flipped into first class mode, which is fantastic. There are other areas in my life now where, for example, in travel, back when I was a suitcase entrepreneur, before my business kind of really started kicking in, I would often be on economy. In fact, all the time. I had decent luggage, not great. And then I remember Rimowa, this German company, sponsored me with this beautiful, shiny purple, super lightweight suitcase, and I still have it today. And it was like a 300 or 400 euro suitcase at the time, and I was like, wow, I have just upgraded. And then a few years into my business, when I was actually really starting to make some serious money, I hired a stylist in New York, and we sat on a rooftop bar and we talked about getting me out of my rags, because I was wearing flip-flops and tights with holes and just looked a little bit like a hobo, if I'm honest. And instead, getting into this really beautiful, not necessarily designer clothes, but just clothes that I felt comfortable in, looked good in, were easy to wear, and I really enjoyed wearing, and more represented where I was at in life. So those were some examples of good first-class upgrades. Here at home now, you know, I really like good appliances. I have a really nice MacBook laptop, a MacBook 12-inch. I mean, this thing is sexy, rose gold. Bought it new recently, have an iPhone X, have good podcasting mic and equipment, good studio equipment, not like the best of the best, but really, really good technical equipment that I love, because this is my life and my business, and so therefore it needs to be really good. But I was trying to think about some other areas in life where, wait a minute, I want to come back to the suitcase entrepreneur. So when I was traveling, apologies, I got this nice suitcase, and then I got the stylist, and then actually I started buying flights that were direct to where I wanted to go. So they cost a bit more money, but I was having way less time spent in airports and in transit, which is super tiring, and jet lag, and treating myself better. And then I started booking into nicer hotels, especially, for example, in Asia and Europe. You can get some incredible places for really, really reasonable. And in Asia, you can book into a 5-star hotel for really not much. And I just remember doing that in Cambodia once after a lot of different travels. And I thought, wow, I suddenly feel like kind of a celebrity. The hotel was amazing. I was my most productive ever. I felt like I upgraded my mindset, and therefore it came across in my business, and I was super productive. I got some amazing things done. And I just felt really, really good about myself, about where I was at. I felt like I deserved it. I felt like a treat at the same time. And nowadays that I'm in New Zealand, if I'm going to travel over to Europe, if I'm going on a flight that is longer than 10 hours, I book business class, and I just don't even think about it. It's, you know, sometimes I look at the price and I'll be like, okay, but if you book earlier enough in advance, it's super reasonable. It is so well worth it for your health, for your sanity, for how you're treated. The minute you get on that plane, they hand you a glass of champagne, you have a luxurious lounge seat that goes into a bed, you have beautiful food. It's often different than economy. You have amazing service. You've kind of got all this space to yourself. There's not many people around, and you feel a little bit special. And then it comes across in how you are actually on that plane, how you arrive at your destination, and then how you carry on into the next few days forward. It's totally worth it, totally. So those are examples of where I've gone business class or first class in life. But then I really wanted to take a deeper look at, where am I in economy class? Where are you in economy class? This is things like, for me, I probably don't really appreciate fine quality clothes. I often look at designer clothes and think they're just a ton of money, and it's not that I can't afford them, it just feels like a waste of money to me. Like I think, oh, that could be a small deposit on a house, if I'm really honest, which is an interesting way of thinking, because you can get incredibly good quality clothes from where I like to actually start shopping more, op shops, where people have given beautiful clothes out but they no longer need them, and it's kind of your treasure to pick up. So it's sustainable clothing shopping, but also you're getting good quality pieces. And also I've just started upgrading a little in the clothes that I buy, so not just going for the shops that are reasonable and fashionable and useful, kind of actually picking out some real quality pieces that I know I will wear again and again and again and will last for ages. I don't have many shoes in my life. I'm not a big fan of a massive amount of women's shoes. I probably spend more on sports shoes than I do on fancy shoes, but good quality, really comfortable but good looking shoes are also important. So that's a little upgrade, little block in my mind that I'm working on this year, is actually paying for good quality, ethically made, sustainable clothes and shoes and accessories is a good idea. It's a good idea. The other place where I think I'm a little bit economy, Josh pointed it out to me today, is when it comes to groceries and dining out. Like, we spend quite a bit on dining out, mainly because we are good at cooking, but we don't always get organised for it, and that is something that's changing this year. But also food is pretty reasonable here, and we appreciate people cooking for us, and now that we're vegan, it's even kind of easier for us to be able to do it, but also there's some amazing vegan restaurants and cafes out there. But when it comes to that, sometimes I do know what good value is, and so if you go to a place and they're just charging astronomical prices for something that you can get somewhere else for less, I do often kind of get a bit frustrated at having to pay that. And even in the grocery supermarket, I'll go for good quality and often organic, but sometimes I'm just like, that's a good bargain, therefore I'm going to get it. So I'm interested and curious about why that is, whether I'm sort of a practical person or whether I have this block around value and paying more. And the other area I'd say is probably in things like spa treatments, facials, etc. I was pretty good at doing that for myself regularly, but I do put a lot of those things off these days. The thing that I have most regularly is massage, and I love it. But the place I go to is pretty low-key budget, and there is something about walking into a gorgeous spa where you are treated like a princess in some ways, or just treated beautifully, and everything's gorgeous, and there's candles and there's lights, and it's really, really good quality, amazing therapists. So I want to do a little bit more of that this year, because pampering yourself, looking after yourself, putting you first is incredibly important. Your health is the most important thing in the world, and that is one place I don't skimp, is on skincare and supplements and looking after my health. So I will pay for a coach or a personal trainer. I will, buy great equipment. I invested in my triathlon gear this year. Not the best of the best, but certainly really good. So I'd say I'm like premium economy business class there. But for my health, I will always prioritize it. That said, I haven't been to the dentist in like 6 years. I haven't got myself along to the doctor for just a regular checkup in quite a while. And there's things like that, podiatrist, need to see a podiatrist, that I am a little bit poor at, actually, the kind of maintenance of healthcare. So food and exercise and training and supplements and skincare, all really, really first class. But those things like checking in for those checkups is something that is probably a little bit more premium economy. So I'd love to know where you think you are flying first class and doing amazing and really loving those areas of your life. And I'd also love to know in the comments, what's one area that you have thought about that is maybe a little bit economy for you, and how could you upgrade that in some ways as easily as possible, and often in a way that's more affordable than you think. One example of that for us is we got a cleaner in at our previous house, and we have one here as well. And that just immediately stopped any kind of like, hey, you didn't do that, or you didn't do the vacuuming, or you didn't do this. It kind of just handed it over to somebody else who can care about the cleaning, the big cleaning. And also it's a great investment because the time and energy they spend on it is well worth us putting that time and energy to other areas, like in our business. And it's lovely to come home to a super clean home. Like, we clean it during the week, but a real thorough clean is a real treat. And so it's well worth the investment for me. So just wanted to get you thinking about, where is your first class life heading this year, and what can you upgrade from economy to premium economy, or premium economy to business? And if you're not doing that right now, what is that saying to you? What are you digging into there? Maybe something from your childhood, from early on in your career. Maybe it's a little bit of lack of abundance, as I pointed out for some areas for me. Maybe a little bit of lack of discipline, or maybe not actually looking at the options that are available to you and going, this is actually a pretty easy upgrade. So I would love to know in the comments below, and I'll be back tomorrow with day 3 of my 29-day challenge. Thank you so much for being here with me.